Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.
What the hell are they doing up there? Do you hear that?
Honey, it's probably just a drunken, semi-naked mock exorcism. Boys will be boys.
A local news rag from Santa Fe, New Mexico, called the Santa Fe Reporter, has on its current cover an illustration of Our Lady of Guadalupe in a bikini. So this has created the latest debates over freedom of speech. It's basically the local Santa Fe highbrow perverts, to not mince words, against the Catholics. Well, for one, this has been done in Santa Fe already. In 2001, one of the local museums displayed an illustration of, guess what? Our Lady of Guadalupe in a bikini. So, I mean, it's been done before, it's going to be done again, and if Santa Fe Reporter was really as cutting edge as they think they are, well, I can't wait until they put Muhammad in a Speedo, or the Buddha in a G-string. Yeah, let's see if they'll go there. No, of course they won't, but that's another issue. The real heresy, as some are calling this event, this occasion, the real heresy is not what the Santa Fe Reporter did with Our Lady of Guadalupe. The real heresy, the real perversion, is the concept of Our Lady of Guadalupe in the first place. So for those of you who don't know, let's hearken back. In 1531 AD, an apparition of Mary took place to Juan Diego, and she claimed to him, or she demanded of him, or stated to him, that a sanctuary was to be built on the spot where she appeared to her. So to make a long story short, he goes to the archbishop, no one believes him, so he goes back to that same spot. The apparition comes again and miraculously causes roses to bloom unseasonably. So he's told to pick those up, take them to the archbishop as proof. So he rolls them up in his tilma, which is, basically like a robe or tunic kind of thing. Wraps them up in his tilma. He takes them to the archbishop, and as he lays them out, as he lets them go out of his tilma, an image is found on the tilma, and the image is the famous illustration of Our Lady of Guadalupe. The illustration has been claimed to have been miraculously produced, and it basically depicts a woman standing on a crescent moon with an angel holding up the whole scene, which right away, something's a little odd, because for one, the crescent moon is black. I mean, I don't know why she'd be standing on the dark side of the moon, but I guess it makes sense, because what basically is happening there is it's hearkening back to Revelation chapter 12, which speaks of a woman with a crown on her head and the moon at her feet. So some Catholics interpret that to be Mary, although there's various problems with this view. And I'll put a link in the info section, and you can read all about the details there. They would just deviate us from the point to go into detail there. And then there's a quote-unquote angel, I should say, because in reality, angels don't have wings. The heavenly beings that do have wings, cherubim and seraphim, they don't have just 2 wings. They have more. So in either case, the angel is all wrong. And, I also wonder, how do we know it's Mary, All these apparitions of Mary or Jesus, how do we know? We don't know what they look like. So if you see a painting or an illustration or a burnt piece of toast, well, how do you know? But that's also just another issue. The bottom line is, unfortunately, Juan Diego did not know enough, apparently, to say to this apparition, and just who do you think you are, that we should build a sanctuary to you and your honor? Or at the very least, it would have been refreshing if he would have just simply said, the Lord rebuke you. I mean, you have to understand, the Catholic Mary is not the real historical biblical Mary. The biblical Mary said of Jesus, whatever he tells you, do it. And she would have never dreamed of saying something to the likes of that a sanctuary should be built to her. But unfortunately, there it is. There's a sanctuary built to her honor, and therein she is prayed to and she is worshipped. There's just no other way around it. And it just so happens that the spot in which the apparition took place, the spot in which the apparition wanted the sanctuary built, and the spot in which the sanctuary was built was the abandoned relics of a temple that was once used to worship an Aztec goddess. So I think the whole thing's pretty simple. Some demon got lonely and just found a new disguise. It used to be an Aztec goddess. Now it's quote-unquote Mary. It's the same thing, just a different disguise. Now, to the cover of the Santa Fe Reporter, you know, it's funny because they basically said, well, look, it's our summer issue and we were just trying to express what Santa Fe's all about, their diversity and so on. And actually, yeah, they did a very good job of portraying Santa Fe's, well, look, Santa Fe is basically like a wealthy drunk uncle, you know. You might see him once a year at Thanksgiving, but even when you don't see him, you're kind of embarrassed that he's out there, you know. And I'll put a link to a whole article that I did about this issue, which repeats a lot of what I'm saying now, but gives you a lot of links to articles for further detail on Catholic issues. So on the cover, as you can see here, you have that apparition in a bikini, sure. But you also have a homosexual male cowboy. You have what's most likely a lesbian flautist displaying the devil horn sign, the Il Cornuto. Then you have some kind of a hiker or bicyclist who is drinking a mug of beer and staring intently at the bikini-clad chest. And you have a little boy that's looks like he's probably engaged in a phallic ice cream there. And what do you have right under that little boy with the phallic ice cream is you have a statement, a quote from one of the articles within the publication that talks about how a quote-unquote artist first drew his first drawing of male genitalia at age 4. That's just super duper. I mean, thank you, Santa Fe. Thank you.
It is one of the most cherished and respected images for Catholics. Now, a local newspaper is under fire for publishing it in what many say is scandalous.
The Santa Fe Reporter published a cartoon of a woman bearing a resemblance to the Virgin Mary of Guadalupe. Action 7 News reporter Melissa Colorado has that story, new at 10.
And Doug and Shelley, this is the image causing so much fury amongst Catholics. A woman in a bikini sipping from a margarita glass. She's wearing a blue cloak, and there appears to be yellow sun rays glowing right behind her. Catholics say she looks way too much like a specific religious icon, and they want this image taken off the website.
I think that's very offensive.
David Rodkey is flabbergasted that the Santa Fe Reporter chose this as a cover design for their Summer Guide 2013 issue.
They seem to be posing her as the Virgin of Guadalupe, and that's the biggest sham alive.
The Virgin of Guadalupe like you've never seen her before, wearing sunglasses, barely covered in a two-piece, and sipping a drink. There's even a bare-chested cowboy right behind her.
That's blasphemous.
The editor of the Santa Fe Reporter refused to do an interview, but she posted this blog post in response to the controversy. Alexa Schertzinger writes, "The intent of our Summer Guide cover design was not to insult or denigrate any religion or ethnicity, but rather to incorporate an important part of Santa Fe's culture into an image that also unites other diverse cultures that flourish in our city." We reached out to New Mexicans on the street.
I can see how this could offend many people.
But Terrence Lente says even though the picture may have been in poor taste,
it pisses people off, but at the same time, freedom of speech.
Now, despite several online comments from readers who are demanding that the picture be removed from the site, the editor of the Santa Fe Reporter
The Santa Fe Reporter distributes nearly 20,000 copies